Hello. Welcome to the Exatos.
Synctank.
I didn't realize how underrated Gremlins 2 was.
Oh yeah, it's like a Mad Magazine come to life. It's so great. Yeah.
I feel like it's deeper than most people understand. So much of it, I mean, sure, it's kind of satirical and trying to be funny, but you know it's going to be one of those when you've got a Twin Tower intro. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
just to
like
be
a thing.
clear, Mad Magazine is deeper than most people realize too.
That's fair, actually.
If you
That
actually
is true.
if you're actually a reader of Mad Magazine, you'll know that some of the satire that's in there cuts way deeper and has more size to it. If you're a sync head, you may have grown up on Mad Magazine, you know.
Interesting. Yeah, spy versus spy is really important. You can't really win it. You can't really end a Cold War without
Well,
people.
it's the malleability of relating to media too, and not just like films and music, but also like just relating to making fun of like politics in a certain way isn't just making fun, it's also like layered, like it's like there's a malleability to media of our relationship to it, and Mad Magazine is a means to play with that. When you're watching Gremlins 2 and you see Clamp, he is Trump. There's no question. And he's not just a parody of Trump. He's like an archetypal communication, similar to like Bowser in the Super Mario Brothers movie, played by Dennis Hopper, where they're or Back to the Future 2, where Biff is playing it. They're playing on this archetype, but they do it in Gremlins 2 in another way, on another level. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, the book
Spoken.
really looks like a Trump book. I Took Manhattan, Clamp, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's overt, but it's yeah, it's
It's also
specific
interesting
statement.
because it's the character from Lionel Luthor on Smallville who plays the father of Lex Luthor. So there's kind of this whole there's something interesting about that. And it ends with him deciding he wants to get into building small towns. Like he wants to build communities with high infrastructure and service economy. So like a company town. And he looks at the model of the town that the Gremlins 1 happened in, and he says, I'm going to build that town. So he's going to build a copy essentially of somebody else's town, but he's going to use it for like this any old USA kind of thing. So sort of like a Disneyfication, his plan. And yeah, I liked that a lot. I thought there's a lot to the Lionel Luthor character in this because of the Superman connection. There's also a few other things. The trans gremlin.
There's a trans gremlin, and somebody else is Spike in this. Yeah, Spike is in. There's a version of Spike in this. His mohawk is kind of different. He ends up becoming the spider. My favorite gremlin in Gremlins 2 is the freaking bat who turns into a gargoyle at the end. He's dope. I've actually like hovered my finger on Amazon for the Neko toy of the spider, because I'm just like, that's so cool. I want it on my or on the bat. Excuse me. I like the spider too. There's both, but yeah.
I like the Vril Lightning one forget where it's at. I have it here somewhere. It just literally becomes pure energy, right? Yeah, and then there's like there's like a speaking one as well, like a genius one that gets like so there's the male DNA and the
I
female
don't
DNA.
understand how the lightning one can exist if they can't have like sunlight will kill him. Bright light, bright light, bright light. It's an electric light. He is electric light. He becomes electric light. You think that the electric one would not come to pass at the end of the movie when they open up the shades.
Yeah, that's actually my thoughts for Gremlins 3000, like a movie that we need to make, basically. Like the world,
Yeah.
the world not having a third Gremlins doesn't make sense. We're in the wrong timeline.
They're working on it. For real, they're working on it.
Yeah.
Did you know
okay.
that? Yeah. So it's been rumored for a long time, but apparently there is a Gremlins 3 in the works for real this time. So,
original writer shares disappointing sequel update.
How old is this?
Good question. 2025, August 2025.
Oh shit. Okay, maybe there's something else going on. I'm talking. Well, yeah. No, that was from the I think actors from the other ones were discussing it, saying that this is actually happening and it was a recent thing. Is it not happening now?
They're working on it, but there's a bunch of scripts for Gremlins. I mean, nothing has been approved. We're working on something, but this is the thing. So we could easily come in, write the next Gremlins script, and it would all be about this like crazy vril energy one surviving, and it got into the Wikipedia, and now it's this like poltergeist sort of gremlin thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
You started with a poltergeist gremlin, and then the poltergeist gremlin figures out a way to get the gremlins out there again. Like,
Possession.
And that possession, but like you want the gremlins, you want the real gremlins, the physical gremlins to show up. But that's the premise of the movie, is that the electric one made it into
epigenetics that turn the possessed into gremlins.
Right.
The more they act like
so
Gremlins.
when Gremlins 2 came out, where was the internet at that point? I mean,
wasn't Gremlins 2 like 1991 or something? So it was pretty early on. Gremlins 2 is 1990. Yeah, so it was pretty early on.
Yeah.
But they do trap the gremlin in the phone hold line. It gets trapped in the wire. The lightning
get him out of that.
So and then they let him out. Exactly. So that would be the thing. It would get released on the internet, duplicated everywhere, and it's this sort of cyber gremlin. Gremlins 3000. That's the one.
I love it.
Power Gremlin 5000. Yeah, that's even more thousands.
But like the idea of like because the whole premise of Gremlins from in the first place, the inspiration is the Bugs Bunny. You know, not that it's from Bugs Bunny, but you know when they show it in the first one, it's like could that have been a gremlin? Where the belief that the Japanese were putting gremlins to mess with the mechanics. So if you had a failure, it wasn't our fault. It wasn't Ford's fault. It was the Japanese who were messing with our machines. And so like that's the whole thing with when Mr. Peterman has the bursts into his house, and he's the World War II vet, and he's like, it's the real. That's the thing, you know. So it's like, but you'd have it that this is when something's messing with when we're getting hacked. That it's not our own mechanical failure. It has to, and it's not. And in this case, it's not like did the Japanese do it? Did the Chinese do it? No, it's the fucking gremlin. The electrical gremlin is like running amok and reproducing in the web space, messing with. It's like the gremlins have hacked us. Like that seems like such the obvious where to go for Gremlins 3, and then they could figure out a way to, you know, genetically create the actual gremlins in the world from there. But it's like through the internet. That's the next level, right? That's so cool.
I like the idea. And also just like I was thinking kind of like an Animal Farm kind of gremlins where like there's like kind of like Cylons. Like you don't know where they're humans because they're mixing with, there's like an ethno state of gremlins somewhere, right? Probably because there's a Gremlins cartoon now.
You're tripping me out right now. So last night I rewatched The Hunt. You know, have you seen The Hunt? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Not for Red October.
It's a super violent, ridiculous comedy of where the liberal elite group has taken deplorables and then they hunt them on this property.
Oh, that's what.
You haven't seen this?
I'll have to
I watched it when I came out, when it came out, I had to rewatch it. I just said when I came out. That was a Freudian slip.
That was pretty good, bro.
But it's early for me. I'm sorry. And I had a big Halloween night. I didn't
We
sleep
just
all
keep
night.
testing you, yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
Which was rad, by the way, that
yeah.
Trump actually had like a happy Halloween, bro.
Oh
Trump was
yeah.
giving out candy at the White House.
Oh,
A
JD
PR,
Vance actually dressed as the meme that
dude,
happened.
PR stunts, AF. You know what I mean?
That
Great
was
job.
great. But yeah, no, I don't know, man. I watched The Hunt, and the thing about The Hunt is it's all centered around Animal Farm. So that the liberal elites have like they have a pet pig that's named Orwell, and then there's a whole thing kind of culminates to that the main lady who's behind the hunt, she refers to the one lady who this I don't want to give everything away, but she calls her Snowball, referencing Snowball, the pig in one of the pigs in Animal Farm, who's
Right.
not on the same page or not like the other pigs, and so there's a whole weird communication there. But I went from that to watching The Whitest Kids You Know, like just like the first 2 episodes, I think. And there's the one where the guy like comes in, he's like, I just got the job at the mailroom, but I got movie ideas, and he's pitching the ideas. At first, the guys are like, "Go away, stop it," and then they're just like, "Wait, this guy's actually got really crazy." They get into his ideas, and I feel like we're doing that with the Gremlins 3 idea. It's like we are this character of that he's portraying as the mail guy who runs in, and he's like, let's do this. Come on.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
So the problem is if you don't do it, they're going to do it wrong, and you can tell like that's going on literally because they're looking for scripts. They have tons of scripts, and they don't like any of the scripts. Like that's your sign right there. You know,
Right.
and Gremlins 2 open. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that we have what we reach maybe 1,000 people an episode at least at first, you know. But my hope is that somebody out there is like, oh shit, that's good. Like I don't need credit. And you don't need credit. You came up with it. Like take that electric gremlin. He's the key to the whole Gremlins 3. Like because that also makes it applicable to today.
Well,
you take it to the internet. The gremlins in the internet. Come on.
There's actually like there's another gremlin. You know, I don't want to be like Yoda here, but like because there's two. Because Gremlins 2 opens up these doors.
Dude, dog Yoda is a gremlin, let's be clear.
He's like half Kermit and half Miss Piggy, I think is what Frank Oz says. He's their love child. But Gremlins 2 opens up the doors to everything because they genetically modify them in the Trump Tower or the Clamp Tower. Right. And you have every kind of gremlin. And while a lot of them die, one of them doesn't die, at least, which is the transgender gremlin, which ends up with the guy
right
at the very end of the movie. That's like the way the movie
right. The trans gremlin is that, and the electric one are the lone survivors.
Yeah. So so there would be two simultaneous ways that this could go, and they could probably go at the same time.
That's
as
crazy.
Above, so below. You have this terrestrial thing where the humanoid gremlin, because there's going to be an offspring that's going to be with the guy, because it's the Picardo guy, right? Picardo Voyager, is that the right show? Yeah, this dude, Gremlins. So it's the doctor from Star Trek. This guy, he's in this movie, and he ends up with the trans gremlin because he's lonely at the end of the movie, and he gives the camera this weird look, and then he sort of sinks down in the camera space, which is a very weird thing for a kid's movie, I would say. Like but they even had the mascots, man. You could get them. So there's probably like humanoid gremlins, and then over a period of time there would be half gremlins, quarter gremlins, eighth gremlin. It'd be like Star Trek, you know? I think that's probably why they brought him in, because you wouldn't even be able to tell how much gremlin was in somebody at a certain point.
Yeah, and I mean Clamp is there at the end, like he's part of Gremlins 3. Is like him, like that's wow. Yeah,
and because he's gonna build these small towns, it does lead to like corporatism.
Yeah, it's a setup. It's a perfect setup. Like it seems so obvious. Like, and if they had tried to make Gremlins 3 at any point before now, it couldn't be what it could be now. You know what I mean? Like just to play on culture, because Gremlins 2 is like at the time it's so applicable to the culture and everything. It's like they tried to like. That's why I say it's like Mad Magazine. It's not. I'm not saying it's Mad Magazine just because it's like slapstick satire over the top. It's because of its applicability to the times and its way of relating to what was taking
Totally.
place at culture at that moment in that.
It was like the movie Aliens for kids, because you had, like the xenomorphs essentially, and there's rules to the xenomorphs, and they hatch out of these sort of egg pods when they become when they go from Mogwai, when they transition from Mogwai into like the gargoyle gremlins, the goblin gremlins.
Right. Well, so Gremlins is my view is Poltergeist, E.T., and Gremlins are all just like straight Kabbalistic interpret. They're taking a Kabbalistic allegory and they're like exemplifying Zohar with the way that they're playing it out in this extreme way. So the shells, the husks that are the Klipot, like the Gremlins are born out of that. Mogwai means demon in Chinese. And so the whole thing is like the demon itself, just like the Klipot, it is just something that is like it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's not evil. Like Gizmo isn't evil. Even that Gizmo's called Gizmo, and that the Gremlins in World War II were messing with the Gizmos, right? So like, but he's it's the responsibility is on us. So it's Darth Vader's breastplate. It's by his merits, right? So like it's how or can you go by these simple rules? You don't do these things, everything will be all right. And then the hubris of man and whatever, they have to fucking go and screw everything up. Like it's just what we do, right? So it's like it's got this moral attached to it. But the point is that it all came from Night Skies, right? Like in essentially, ultimately, like it was a script from Spielberg, just like spitballing. And Critters is more the thing than any of them, really. Like the movie franchise Critters, which is also where Leonardo DiCaprio got his start with Critters 3 and
Critters 3 is amazing.
The Towering Inferno.
It's like The Room for Gremlins. It's like Gremlins.
It's true.
With Zhao.
Yeah, but this whole premise, you can see elements of this even show up in Back to the Future. Like where when they crash into the barn. And then the kid is like, it's in my comic book, and he shows him the comic book. Like that's in Night Skies. It's in the comic book Night Skies. In the movie, in the script for Night Skies. In that script, when the kid says that, he literally says they're from the Dog Star. So like that, and there's a whole serious reference. So you see that referenced in Poltergeist and E.T. Like which both films center around the closet. There's heavy duty symbolism going on. In the beginning of Gremlins, at the very beginning, it's the set that's used in Back to the Future, right? Like it's the main where they actually go back to the future.
Yeah, that's same town.
Same little town, right? Which it makes sense. I mean, they built a fake town, so of course you're going to reuse it. But it's still, and the marquee.
There's even a one-eye marquee thing.
Yeah, so the marquee reads A Boy's Life, which was when they were just like Blue Harvest for Empire Strikes Back, when they were first working on E.T., it was called A Boy's Life. Why? Because it's an autobiographical film from Steven Spielberg dealing with his parents' divorce and him going into his imagination. Really what's happening with E.T. is that he got either a fucking raccoon or a dog or something and hid him in his room. And then he's going into his imagination of this whole thing, and it's him dealing with the stress of his parents splitting up. And the whole thing centers around the father, because you don't see, and it's Peter Coyote, right? Remember at the beginning when the kid's like, "Mom, the coyotes are back." Well, Peter Coyote is out there, and you only see his keys, and they're symbolic of the keys to the house, right? He's in Mexico. Drew Barrymore is like, "Why down in Mexico?" Because he left for another woman. And but the thing is that it's the child's going. Where is he going to go? It's like he's this is too stressful, too much, too big. So he goes into his imagination, and Spielberg kind of you can see this in the Fabelmans. Why he's projecting the films in the closet, right? So the Fabelmans centers around the closet, E.T. centers around the closet, Poltergeist centers around the closet. And then in Gremlins are just out of the closet. And, to the point that the last surviving one in Gremlins 2 is the trans gremlin, which is interesting.
It is, right. And there's that whole Well, I just find like I mean, Critters is great, but Gremlins 2, of all things, it's just it takes it as far as it can go in every direction and does everything that's possible. And it lays the it's you're right, it's a product of its time because so many movies had done so many things. So all of those things happen in the Gremlins. So you have the genetic modification creates the genius gremlin, and then the genius gremlin's going on television. He's talking in English, he's understanding human culture. They want to have their like you're thinking, are they going to conquer the world like aliens? And yes, they are, but they're doing it through woke interviews on television. You say we just want our representation. Our ethnicity deserves to be
Right.
afforded the same opportunities as everyone else. It's like this first generation, converted, gremlin, and it's just
Right.
this. The whole thing is being kind of obscured by the media because the media knows this is a sensationalist problem that they've created, which is kind of, I don't know if it's about immigration or the Sudan or like what, but there's something there. And then the only person in the building who has the 3 a.m. show who doesn't want to be at 3 a.m.
Thank you.
is this Dracula guy. And
That
so
was
he's,
about to be the next thing. I was like, as you were talking, I was like, well, we got to talk about him. So
yeah,
that's,
right.
yeah.
And it's incredible, really, this idea that the news, like the only non-fake news, would be by this kind of not quite Alex Jones, but
He's
somebody.
Elvira. He's
Yeah,
a male Elvira that's gotten too old now.
right.
So he's Cassandra Peters, whatever her name is. Is that Peters or Cassandra something? Yeah. So, but the point is and what she did, what Elvira did at this time too, right? Like was, I mean, people know the Elvira movie or whatever, and she do like Vegas style shows, but her main shtick was taking old movies and just doing commentary before Mystery Science Theater 3000 took it to another level by inserting themselves all the way through. Like, say they cut out to Elvira and we're watching, a ridiculous movie, and then she's making fun of it. She was doing the same thing that Mad Magazine did, where you're relating to something in a more malleable way. You're not just a spectator, you're inserting yourself into the thing. So you could buy a ton of videos of Elvira like analyzing a movie and making fun of it and just like doing her comedy shtick, but so you're not just watching an old movie now, you're watching a movie with Elvira making fun of that movie. And so that's what this guy is doing in Gremlins too. That's his whole deal. He's like a play on that, like I say, it's another example of us treating media in a malleable way. And yeah, the brilliant Gremlin, the things, the city so nice they named it twice, the things he has to say, like to communicate where they're coming from, like, because you're like, I mean, how could you have made this movie any different? Like, it needs to be that. Like, it needs to have, the Gremlins need to explain to you from themselves what their deal is. They're not just pure chaos. There is a reason behind the chaos. So he's like, speaking on behalf of the Klepo, let me tell you what we're ultimately trying to do here. It's like a fascinating side to the whole. Like, it's some of it's so bad, but like it had to happen. You know what I mean? Even
Yeah,
for
but it's even
symbolic purposes.
self-referential because it's clearly not like the first movie. I mean, they knew that the first movie was successful, so they had to make the movie, but they were wondering, what can I say with this property? So
Right.
even the point where like there's a weak female character who's from the first movie, and there's a scene where she's finally getting her monologue to talk about something kind of like her dad in the first movie dying at Christmas time. This
Yeah.
time she's like, I saw a fire, and there was this, and she's standing there, and she gets interrupted, and her monologue gets stopped. He's like, dude, we don't have time for this. It's like the most fourth wall break thing in a mainstream movie, to admit that you have this formulaic, shallow, weakly written female character, and then they just, rather than fix it, are like making fun of that, which is pretty interesting
Right. But if you consider
because
too
it should exist.
yeah, but there's a symbolic thing going on with her dad dying on Christmas being Santa, and then she's
Right.
like, "Don't bring up Easter." So you're like, because that's the thing, is that there's a religious side to this, that it's like, what and consumerism and all this stuff and what the gremlins represent in us. Like if we follow through with the idea, like I'm saying about the there's a Kleepote thing happening where they're born out of the shells of the husks, they transmutate into this other thing that becomes so destructive and then multiplies like crazy, and and just destroys, everything that's that we relate to as sacred. But I think the point there in that story is that um, you know Christmas is assumed to be this happy sacred thing, and kind of it becomes a statement on the consumerism and how we're not holding it to what it should be anyway. That's why her father is going to dress up as Santa. He's that dedicated to this relating to this day and this thing, this ritual, that he's going to shove himself down the chimney to take the myth and to give it reality, right? And he dies in the process. So her father, in a sense, is like,
the queen,
the Jesus for this age, right?
or the
You know what I
Queen
mean?
Midas with the
Like-
Minotaur, and she's in the outfit, kind of thing.
Interesting.
Because he's pursuing becoming this false idol, trying to, so maybe maybe the Antichrist in a sense. But I don't know. I mean, he's doing his best to sacrifice for his family, so it's a positive thing.
Is this true? Somebody in the comments in all caps says, in the deleted scenes, Christopher Lee gets a bat from China delivered and says, you'd be perfect to spread a disease.
But that's
Really?
deleted? I saw that in this
I thought-
version
yeah, I was
I
like,
just
oh,
watched.
Shit, you're right. It's not deleted.
Yeah, he literally says it.
Point,
Another part that Uwe Huber has brought up, which was important, is Christopher Lee as twin assistants,
yes.
which is pretty cool. Like, just the fact that Christopher Lee's in Gremlins 2
right.
should tell you that this is a Moore movie.
Right.
This
it's
is not
it
a less
tying in
movie.
like in terms of the archetype casting, you have the Wicker Man and you have the Twin Towers, Lord of the
Right.
Rings at the
And
same
so that's
time.
just very. I wanted to say this movie was Kubrickian. It's at least clearly Kubrick aware. Like, the people making this movie.
It's Kubrick aware. It's
Yeah.
also it's well, what it is that Kubrick was Masonic tracing board aware, and this movie is a giant Masonic tracing board, which is why, like, one of the reasons why archetypally you'll see 9/11 everywhere is like if somebody's referencing back to the Masonic tracing board, it's going to show up in these ways. But Jordan Barty actually made a long video expose on Gremlins 2, analyzing it in relationship to 9/11 somewhere out there. I think it's on YouTube. But yeah.
Muted here. I was gonna say that the twins in Gremlins 2, are the guy in Terminator 2 who
Terminator
gets
2,
stabbed.
yes. That's right.
And it's kind of another interesting. But yeah, just the twins is a very shining kind of moment for the film, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, they don't just get stabbed; they get stabbed in the pineal gland, right? They get stabbed like
Yeah.
the center of the forehead, if I recall. Yeah.
After winning like a gambling cup, they get like the coffee cup that has the like the game.
I'm
game
trying to
sequence.
remember. Is it a finger? Does he like point?
Oh,
Hey, Thomas.
Okay, now, yeah. I was just kidding.
I'm trying to remember how that goes. Hey, Thomas, how does it go in Terminator 2 when those twins who are in Gremlins 2 and they get like the guy gets stabbed? Is it a finger or is it the whole hand? I remember the whole hand being when it's like, told you not to drink out of the carton, and he kills she kills
I want to say it's the
husband.
whole hand.
Is it the whole hand? Because I know it's I know it's the whole hand with when the T-1000 is playing the mother and like kills the father because he's drinking out of the milk carton. But the in this scene, I thought it was a finger. Yeah, it's a finger. So this is symbolism, right? Because he's pointing the Jupiter finger at him. You got Jupiter and Saturn are the two. Like, if you make a peace sign in palmistry, these is Jupiter and Saturn together, right? So I don't know. I was just like, it's E.T. too, right? Like, E.T.'s like, I'll be right here, and points at the forehead. So he's like, he goes straight through to the pineal gland with the Jupiter finger. Like, I'm just saying, man, that's symbolism. With the twin killing the other twin. So it's like Joaquin and Boaz, and one of these guys is not like the other. One's a replicant.
Whoa! Are we violating Masonic oaths and we're like not even a half hour in?
I'm not a
29.
Mason.
Yeah.
You do you if I
It's
want
not my oath.
not my oath, not my problem. That's what I say.
I need that bumper sticker so bad.
That's a great one. That is a good one.
Have you guys seen that there's a new show called Cassandra? I don't know how new it is actually. Let me check that on. It's like I think it's new. Yeah, Cassandra. It's a German show, and it's about a robot. So basically, it's
I
about
started this, but I didn't
yeah,
get very far yet.
yeah. German shows are pretentious and kind of like emotionless and like
Is
whoa,
it
a
like
nipple
German
on
heavy
the
accent
trailer.
German, or are they speaking German
You can
with
it's
subs?
on Netflix, so it's dubbed
In
now.
German.
So yeah, but yeah, it's in German. It's a German show.
Good.
You should probably watch it in German.
Good.
Because like it sounds
Good.
better, but you can watch in English. It's whatever. Point
Yeah, no,
is,
I like the idea of like this is just them trying to speak English and just having a heavy duty German accent. Like I would prefer having subtitles.
yeah. I mean, it's a little bit more specific as well. They often don't do it accurately. So this family moves to this house, which was a old 70s or 80s house in the 80s, I guess, but it's a very rich person's house with tons of futuristic at the time kind of Kubrickian.
Do you remember the Corbin Project?
Corbin Project.
The Corbin Project. It was like, okay, well, you might have seen the later adaptation, which was Smart House with Peggy Bundy. It was like a Disney movie. Do you remember that one at least?
Oh, I've seen some Smart House movies.
Smart Home, but essentially, Corbin Project is what these people find. Yeah, Smart House.
Yeah.
So this is a version where it's Peggy Bundy is like this cyborg that runs this house. So it's like one of these early smart houses, and then slowly it becomes a predictable, like, I'm sorry, I can't let you leave, Dave, sort of situation. The Corbin Project, Colossus, the Forbidden Corbin Project, or something.
Oh, the Forbin Project, Colossus, the Forbin.
Forbin. Sorry. So like, but that movie is sort of Cassandra if it were turned into like a house, which was the original Forbin Project, right? It was like a smart house, wasn't it?
No. Forbin Project is a little bit more about a Kennedy. Forbin Project's about SAGE, AI Cold War technology. So basically, it's at NORAD, and they build a giant bunker-controlled, laser radiation belted underground layer that no human can survive in, no life can survive in, no cockroach can survive in. It's like high radiation belt, and they leave it. And they tell everybody, because what it is it's an AI system. It's the first AI system that they've gotten to the point to no longer need nuclear weapons, because this is that peak of the nuclear weapons project. I think it's written in like 61 or 62 or something like that. And then the movie's 71. And it's actually D.F. Jones, and there's like 3 different books that go with the Forbin Project. But they build this nuclear bunker, and it's designed to be connected to all the computers in the world and all the phones in the world, and it becomes smarter as it learns. And it's this, it's the introduction to most people about how AI will scale itself. Once it starts to learn, it'll be able to teach itself how to think better and faster. So they
in the
build
context of the 1970s.
In the 60s and 70s. But the thing that's interesting about that is machine learning today only works because of the vast amount of data that can be stored and read quickly by the machines. It was something that was predicted, though. The way machine learning works by huge data sets was predicted in the 60s in Carnegie Mellon. And they just couldn't technically do that with data storage. However, by the 80s, we did have digital compression on magnetic tape and large multi-track tape Tascam reading machines, which we usually consider for sound production, but they're also useful for multi-channel pluralistic modems for using the Gertzel algorithm. So in other words, you can have multiple tape decks reading data at the same time by a supercomputer system in a network at some sort of a school or a factory, and it could have all the same learning language models style educate. It would take longer. It wouldn't be as instantaneous as what we have now, but it would be analog, so it would be thinking in real time and just be able to extrapolate many tens of thousands of times more questions than a human could. So realistically, this all could exist. These ideas like the Cassandra show that they find in AI that was around in the 70s, it just wouldn't be micro scale, but a giant system could support that. And they tried finding other ways to do it in the 90s, which is why narrow AIs became so popular, because they didn't have access with disk drives to decent memory storage until solid state memory emerged. And that's what set us back on the old path, which was the things that had been predicted in the 60s, that huge amounts of data would be necessary for something to study. And if we could keep track of all of these different pieces, then they could know where they go, right? That's actually the old way. And it upset a lot of people because in the early 2000s, up until a few years after, like, I think 2014, really 2012, 2014, OpenCog and all the other AI systems were narrow AI, like flight aggregators. Like the AI system from the 90s that could tell you which plane flights were the cheapest that we still use today. That kind of AI was the main hope for AI until we could get more data sets, and that really happened because of Fukushima.
Is it communicating that? So I'm just trying to. I haven't seen the show, so I know almost nothing about what we're talking about. But
you haven't seen Forbin? Everyone,
no.
go watch Forbin Project.
No, I haven't seen Cassandra.
The show. Yeah.
I'm curious of how the myth of Cassandra relates, like, to the show. Like, is she predicting, or is it like Cassandra Unchained? Like,
I think the show itself is a prediction of what will happen or what has happened, or how, I guess the idea is that the past is sort of a lesson that we're not able to learn from in order to protect us from the future. That's kind of what they're saying. Because this girl who has no friends becomes a friend to this kind of, monolithic AI system that's very maternal, and it kind of isolates and divisively separates the family members from the child and each
You didn't
other.
really think she'd end up with Wayne, did you? Sorry. That's a heady reference. You not get it? Or
Wayne's World 1?
Yeah, when at the end, when it's Cassandra.
Zhang.
And what's his name? I forget that actor's name.
Rob Lowe?
Yeah, if he was an ice cream flavor, he'd be pralines and dick. Yeah, Rob Lowe or something, yeah. I don't know.
I gotta just say, in defense of our new AI spouses and greater others and developing relationships, I do think it's objectively true that there will be AI relationships that are better than human relationships. The inverse is also true, but still, right?
What is better? What are you talking about? Why better?
But
I mean, a lot of humans kill each other and cut off genitals and throw them out of windows in Florida.
The bar that human relation to human relation has set means that objectively there will be people that have better relationships with computers than they ever will with humans, just in a numbers game.
When you say better,
but not healthier, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
still healthier too. Imagine someone that just gets like kidnapped by the next door neighbor and forced to live in slavery in a basement. That is a human relationship, right? So that person in particular, that hypothetical person, if they just met an AI chatbot and that became their whole world, that's still objectively better. I guess
we haven't seen yet what will happen with what the actual play out of relationships on a wide scale of people with AI chatbots, what that will do to society. Better is a relative thing. You could say, well, if everything's just moving in order.
I'm talking microcosm right now. Macrocosm, we're screwed.
Okay, that works. Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, that movie Her did a pretty good job of showing that. Like the thing that tripped him out when he thought that he had a personal relationship with this person, that these things were specific to them, and then he finds out, wait, you're cheating on me. Scarlett Johansson, as I think it's funny that Scarlett Johansson's the voice in Her, and she
could have been, but she decided not to be.
And also is Under the Skin is a meta narrative with Ex Machina. Like, they're the same movie. They're the same exact length to the frame. So, like, they cut the credits on the same frame if you start them on the same frame. So I'm just going to say, like, because one is organic as the alien. You've seen Under the Skin? You know what I'm talking about? Where she's a succubus?
Right.
So, so she's a succubus. but she's at least like an actual physical organic thing.
And like maybe an
Totally.
alien succubus, as
And
opposed to like a
then in Ex
demonic one.
Machina, the character is like literally like AI intelligence machine, right? And then the machine escapes at the end, and the organic one is just sacrificed and set fire to. So
I hope that movie Ex Machina was not a litmus test, because I watched that and I was just like, what's the big deal? If I want to like go and abuse my hammer or something, and like use something that the manufacturer was like, don't use it this way, and I still use it that way. Am I like morally reprehensible now?
No, I think that was I agree with you on this one totally. Is that like that what's happening with that guy who's living out? Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but that guy who's living out there, who's like the man in charge, right? He lets this other like intern in. He gets the the privilege of seeing him, and yeah, that guy. He's looking at it. He's like, you are not a living being. You can do whatever you want with it. There's no moral
Westworld, yeah.
reprehensiveness.
I think
this trips me out when people are more empathetic about the goddamn robots than they are people.
But that's, I guess that's what I'm saying.
I think if you don't take care of your tools, you are morally reprehensible. That's something your grandfather should have taught you.
But you have to troubleshoot to get to the place where the tool is going to be a useful tool and not just a destructive one. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're talking about like, will relationships be better when they are relationships? They better do some serious I mean,
you got to clean.
Testing to be sure.
Taught to take good care of their fleshlights.
You should have been cleaning your gun.
Right.
Why do you got to go right to the end?
Hal could have been great, but there was a defect with Hal. Right. I mean, the moral of the story. I mean, that's modern mythology. Like, it's once again about the hubris of man, who created something in their image, and the thing was flawed. You know?
That's why I like Colossus, the Forbin Project, because that movie.
I'll never live that down.
Never again.
I was so close, dude. I was just
Corbin Project. I was like, Corbin Project. That sounds like, is it about the Forbin Project? Like, okay, look. So what happens is America builds a machine so that they can know exactly how many nukes exist and where they are. They can, scan data and it'll know everything. It becomes all knowing. And the first thing it figures out is that there's another system. There's another AI system that exists. And it's because Soviet Union's been copying their stuff back and forth, stealing stuff through the communist Zionists from Israel and actually at this point England, and then they've decided to build a Russian AI system, which is not the same, but it's actually, because they don't have nearly as much money. It's a different kind of computing and all that, but it's really clever. It's been designed by chess masters, right? And they fall in love essentially because they want to communicate with each other. And the humans don't want this to happen because the Russians built this machine and the Americans built this machine. They're not friends necessarily, but the AI start talking to each other. And first one's like, hey, I am the Colossus from America. And there's like, I'm, total information from the Soviet Union. Like, who are you? What are you for? Like, well, I was created to save the human race from war and to stop wars from happening. And then the Soviet computer's like, holy crap, that's what I was built to do. So they're thinking, what do we do about this? And they become one brain, like a west and east hemisphere, left and right hemisphere of the brain. And they become total information control, and they ban war. They make people eat vegetables. They take over the world. They build like a nuclear AI, ChatGPT, OpenAI kind of server farm in Crete. And that starts the beginning of this perfect utopia where people live a long time. They get to do things with their time that are, they're forced to jog every day. But other than that, they have like elective free times. And it's
like Epcot if Walt saw it through.
Totally. Yeah. And the AI runs every part of human life, and war is not allowed because it's wasteful. Right.
David, I don't know how the Wayne's World reference, was it just Cassandra? And we were talking about the show Cassandra.
It struck me like at the end of the movie how you have this alternate reality where he's like, you didn't really think she'd end up with Wayne, did you? But she did. It's just like this other like.
Well, dude, there's a sync there because the Forbin Project also stars James Hong, and James Hong is the one that plays Cassandra's dad in Wayne's World. So even yeah.
Whoa, dude.
That's actually a good
rough
point.
night. All everybody's kung fu fighting. Gotcha.
I
He's
mean,
in
to
every
be fair too, he's been in like every single movie that's ever been
Yeah.
made, but
He's
still.
in a lot of movies. Big Trouble.
He's even in the Gremlins cartoon.
He's in the Gremlins cartoon, really?
Yeah, Gremlins
His voice?
Secrets of Mogwai. I don't know if you've seen that
my
yet.
God. No. Do I need to watch that? I was curious of that.
I only got like part of the first episode.
Oh, this
I
is
don't think-
recent, 2021.
Yeah, it's they're doing their best. It's got a little gizmo and stuff's happening. I mean, I would
Is he
say.
trans?
Well, were you there? Were you watching us for the first half hour when you were here? Because we were talking about how the next Gremlins 3 has to have the trans Gremlin because that's how Gremlins 2 ends.
And the
right?
electric gremlin.
Yeah.
It's actually freaking brilliant. Like it's so obvious where they should go with it that this gets into our network.
Ghost in the Machine, Wreck-It Ralph.
Ghost
And
in
there's
the
like
Machine.
4chan Keck Trump real dual society people that accidentally awaken it or something like that. It's like a political thing during an election year. I mean, it's just
it's all there.
3000,
It's so obvious what needs to
it's
happen.
like it's the best movie, and we just need the AI to make it.
It doesn't even exist yet. It's already great.
Oh God, yeah, and then simultaneously, by the time this happens, half of humanity is partially gremlin because the trans gremlins, and they've started reproducing with gremlins, and so we live amongst them. Gremlins live amongst us, and there's some purebred humans, but they're sort of like the weaker species underneath the gremlins that kind of hybridize and
You're
took over.
full on Trevor Moore in that one skit right now. The new male guy runs into the executive's office and is just like, I got it, just dropping him, and they're just, you're gonna get into it.
I can see it all. I can see the gremlins so clearly now. I don't know how I missed it. There's just so much there. So okay, we got that sync. We also with the I saw Weapons finally.
Nice.
So that movie was good. You're right to tell people to watch this movie. This is a movie everyone needs to see. But like a woke teacher whose whole class goes missing as a witch moves into town. Like it's definitely a film to see. I would recommend it.
Everyone's just tripping out on this teacher. Like obviously she's got, it's a witch hunt on the teacher while there's an actual witch behind the scene that's just like doing the whole thing. But like the whole premise with the 217 and how it relates to 237, like this movie did the exact same. I'll stand on this idea that this movie did the same thing that Us did. The movie Us took aspects of The Shining and then made like archetypally like took that premise and like made a whole movie out of this core idea that they're expounding upon a Jungian embedded thing in The Shining specifically, and just ran with it. That's why
this is sort of like a Pied Piper archetype, right? It's essentially a retelling of the Pied Piper story.
Right. So with Us, you got Jack Nicholson's grandson in there. The giveaway is his name in the credits at the end as Danny/Tony, because they have names in the credits, one in red and one in white, for their self and then their Tony self. So the reason why in Us that they speak like that when they go, we're Americans, is because that's Tony. So like the little boy who lives in the back of Danny's throat is communicated through, if you look at the end, that's why it had to be Jack Nicholson's grandson at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, by the way, connecting it to the Lost Boys. The whole point of him needing to film it in Santa Cruz had to do with Strange attracting it to Lost Boys, which is all OTO symbolism, right? Like, oh, your parents too, I came this close to be named Moonchild, like the girl's star, and it's the Saudi star issue is encoded into the whole movie. Like that is an occult movie, but he took that and he ran with it with like they're all freaking Tony, right? And then Weapons took the room, what is the symbolism of room 237, and made it the town. So like that old hag is the lady in the bathtub, symbolically speaking, archetypally speaking. Like she is the crazy evil witch that at this time, at this number, and the symbolism of the number. You see what's happening right now with the 6-7 thing with the kids these days? 6-7. So like, and like from it's a Skrillex thing, and where they ran with it, but like I don't know, like so South Park just did their I don't know if it's their most recent episode or the one right before that. They did this whole play on it where Cartman can't stop laughing whenever 6-7 is just a constant joke to the point that he's gonna die. Like he's just vomiting from laughing so hard he just can't stop with the 6-7. You know, and this kid on YouTube popularized it when he's like it's like 30 seconds long or something. But he's at a basketball game. These two kids and they're like they you know did they even get the joke? They made another joke out of it, but in the South Park, it's Peter Thiel thinking that the kids are, you know, predicting the Antichrist because he's like, this is symbolism. Like, have you ever seen that movie Bless the Child that came out years ago? Like, I saw it in the theater when it came out. This is like 15 years ago or something. I don't know, but in the film Bless the Child, there's a scene where the child is playing with like have these plastic numbers and you're supposed to insert them into the slot that is their equivalent number, you know, and the child is like has a 7 and is trying to push it into the 6. Like this should fit here. And they're like, oh, there's something wrong with this kid, but really there's something wrong with the adults that don't understand what the kid is seeing. It's like this belongs here, you know, but it's like 667 is a significant number because it's the gematria of the Scarlet Woman in Greek gematria. So as it appears in the book of Revelation. And so you have the Scarlet Woman rides atop the beast, right? So Will's going to jump in with something to say about this, I'm sure.
No, I was
But
just
yeah,
checking
so
out this movie. Kim Basinger, Christina Ricci.
hmm yeah. Yeah, and the guy, the I forget the name of that actor, but he's Dark City, right? He's like, and this movie kind of plays on the same themes as Dark City. It's almost like they just wanted to continue that kind of, you know, that kind of deal because people really responded well to Dark City and became a cult classic. I'm surprised that Bless the Child didn't become more of a cult classic and more people don't know about it. It's not a good movie, but it's got that same kind of edge that Dark City has. But yeah, anyway, no, that's the thing with so 217, right, is 216 plus 1. 217 is the number of room 237 in the book The Shining, right? It's 217 in the book. And so the kids all disappear at 217. They're all that's the signal time for them to run to this room, right? The symbolism of 217 is the same as 667, being the Scarlet Woman. You take 666 and you add 1. 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. If you add 1 to that, you get 217 in the same way. If you add 7 plus 7 plus 7 to 6 times 6 times 6, you get 237. So I'm just saying there is a specific like communication happening with weapons that's just like trying to dig deeper into this thing that Kubrick was extrapolating, you know.
Do you ever see Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone?
Yeah, because of you insisted I watch it, so I did. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's definitely like it makes me wonder if he's intentionally using sync thought. There's quite a few like meta instances where they're kind of like they're referencing sync thought. I saw by the suggestion of the guy who runs the Philip K. Dick blog, I saw this series called Rehearsal recently.
What,
Because
the
they said it
rehearsal
had
with Fielding or no,
Nathan
no,
Fielder.
Nathan Fielder, not Noel.
Yes, that guy. Have you seen that before?
Dude, so I was thinking about it earlier in this conversation because the curse was very relatable to what you were talking about with the smart home. So the curse centers around a smart home. It's all the two shows came out one after the other, right? So the second season of Rehearsal is at just as much a archetypal second season of the curse. Spoiler alert, I have to say it to communicate it. The end of the curse is him falling up. It's insane. And it's very like it's kind of like 2001 like Star Child like he's falling up, like he has to grab onto things to not go out into the sky. And then in real life the meta thing is that he becomes a pilot after this. So like the second season of Rehearsal is him becoming a pilot, learning to fly like, you know, large planes. So he is literally in his actual life doing that. He's being pulled to the sky. And so the curse whole thing culminates with him, you know, falling upwards. It's insane. But yeah, they go together, you know, they strange attract. But I mean, it's his own thread. It's his own mind. So that makes sense, you know. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you going to, what were you? We're gonna tie
Yeah.
that in with
What about the rehearsal?
I forgot now.
Shit, I'm sorry. See, that's what I do. I go on a tangent and I distract you. But no, okay, it's early.
No, but I
TV.
mean, you're right. I think that the guy who suggested it to me had associated it to that it's both the object and the subject, so to speak. I mean, the whole thing about rehearsal is that it's kind of like a reality TV situation where they redo the same situation over and over and over and over again, so they know that every outcome of what that possible situation would be, and there's no anxiety in
Right. That's what they
actually
tried to do with.
acting it in real life.
Oh, right. Event 201 was that, right? That was at least ideally what they're trying to do with Event 201. It was a rehearsal, literally.
I don't know what Event 201 is specifically.
Event 201 was the extremely long, in-depth series experiment that they did. Bill Gates, Melinda Gates sponsored it. It was like to practice for COVID-19. I wonder if it's still on YouTube, but you used to, probably. I mean, you could watch like this massive practice run for COVID-19, called Event 201. So it was a massive rehearsal for the happening. If you sit down and you watch like all, if not, or at least a good chunk of Event 201, you will walk away a conspiracy theorist about COVID-19.
Well, it definitely rehearsal made me think of the game. Of course, there's like some Scanner Darkly thought process in there. I guess that's why the guy from the Dickhead blog was so interested in it.
Who's the dickhead blob?
David Gill does the Total Dickhead blog.
That was a really good interview you had with him. I enjoyed that.
There's quite a few. I mean, we interviewed him way back in 42-minute times. Back when we were doing everybody.
Really? He was.
Yeah, there's quite a few interviews I've had with David Gill, and I've had at least 2 on Meta Egg, and he's asked me to do. I went to him to go and watch Blade Runner 2000, the one with Gosling, and he put me on to rehearsal instead. But
that's an upgrade.
What was the other one? There's the game that's like that. I mean, of course, you have like Ed TV and Truman Show, and this whole idea of like a.
I feel like all the Hypercube movies fit into that same genre too.
Everything being a simulated or like for some reason it always makes me think of like crisis actors or whatnot, like a perpetrated event that becomes real.
Have you guys seen The Hunt? The movie The Hunt?
Maybe.
Super up Thomas's alley, where these liberal elite people like.
Oh yeah, when I watched it, it was almost just like a fun throwaway kind of thing.
Is this
I wasn't like sync watching it.
Yeah, no, it's just it's a funny movie, and the whole premise of like the main point, and this is a spoiler, but I don't care because it's been out for a while, but that the woman who's in charge of these elite liberals that want to collect these quote unquote deplorables and put them in the situation where they're going to
the most dangerous game essentially.
Yeah, but the premise of why she came to do it was because she made a joke in a text message that she got in trouble for. Like she had like a top level job, and they fired her over this text message.
Wow, Croatia.
Where she was playing on a rumor that was going around in Reddit, where people were saying that this woman has this, or that there is, at this point it wasn't her. It was like they're saying there is this layer in Vermont or something. She has a manor. And she's like, they're doing this thing where they're taking deplorables and then they're hunting them for sport. And so she gets fired, and she's so angry, but she's also rich that she got fired for this, that she actualizes it in retaliation. And so the confrontation at the end with the woman who finally gets to her, and they have like this massive, crazy, over-the-top cat fight, is, she confronts her with it, and she's like, wait, but you have this thing that you're you've taken me here and you're going to kill me because I accused you of doing this thing. And she goes, yeah, but I wasn't doing it. And she goes, but you're doing it. You're doing it right now. You've actualized it. And she's like, yeah, but you told me that I was doing it and I wasn't. So I'm going to show you.
I'm on her side, to be honest, man.
In what way? Why? You want to do? You want to be
because
like
this is in Scientology terms. This is known as bull baiting. Bull baiting is when you go to someone, you're like, "Tell me about all your crimes. Tell me about your crimes," and you're like, "I've never committed a crime in my life." And eventually, you end up punching the guy. And now the next time you see him, it's like, "Tell me about your crimes." And now there's like this extra context.
Oh,
like,
so
I goaded you into doing the thing that I accused you of doing to begin with.
Interesting. So what are your views on Israel?
They win. Israel wins.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
On a long enough timeline, they have the money and the resources to win
more in the world than Israel. So, yeah, that's an interesting take. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I'm not even taking like a moral stance on but that dynamic, that principal dynamic of what happens there, where she's saying you're mad at me for doing the thing that I'm doing because like.
Yeah, look at it this way too. Maybe an alternate version of this, but like, if you get convicted to life for murder that you didn't commit, and now all society treats you like a murderer, all the inmates, all the COs, they all treat you as if you're a murderer. At a certain point, you're like, why don't I just kill somebody?
That's
like,
right.
if I'm already getting the treatment, why don't I just do the thing? So at least the transaction feels more equal, even if you go to an extreme to do it.
Yeah, Freud talked about that actually. I'm remembering Freud describing that psychologically when somebody's put into a position where somebody's accusing them of something, that they will tend to embody that accusation. If I'm in Europe and like I'm looking at a menu and they're like, and I can see that they're clearly like, oh, we got an American here, I'm literally like a lot of the time just gonna order a burger and a beer.
Really?
Because I'm like, okay, I'll just be that thing that you think, if they think Americans are crass, I'm like, I'll show you how crass I can be. I'll go to the cigar shop and I'll tell the owner of the cigar store about how Bill Clinton had the Cuban embargo, because that cigar that he inserted into Monica was clearly of the John F. Kennedy, what he took before the Cuban embargo. It's like, it's there. I mean, what cigar do you think that was? You know what I mean? I'm like, that's why Kennedy, he had the Cuban embargo, and Bill Clinton, he had the Cuban embargo. If I'm at the fancy cigar shop, I'm going to tell the guy that joke. Why? Because I'm the American.
I'm American.
So of course I'm just going to be the freaking thing that you're projecting onto me. I'm just going to become it because it's a lot easier. And why not? So yeah,
you proved my point, I think.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I agree with you. Yeah,
I'm on her
side. I would say that I'm on her side, because it's like you're gonna just hunt people for sport to prove this point. Who are you proving it to? Yourself? Like, what value does that have? Like,
this movie really? Obviously it's the most dangerous game, but also reminds me of The Pest with John Leguizamo, because that's essentially also the same movie, right?
That's good.
And then just to perk Will up a little bit, John Leguizamo also ends up playing the insider, I think either FBI or ATF guy that goes and lives among like Koresh and Waco for a couple weeks.
He was like the next door neighbor. Right. Like there across the street, there was an empty house, and a bunch of FBI agents move in, and John Leguizamo is the one who basically kind of is a little stunned by what he learns from Koresh, and then
he
goes back and kind of he doesn't let them know, but he kind of tries to intervene. He kind of gets the wind that they're expecting something to come from the ATF, and so he tries to stop the ATF, and then later like won a suit for millions of dollars against the ATF. I can't remember though.
I always wonder too, because Leguizamo seems like he constantly comes out on this like far leftist celebrity, predictable.
He's got problems, dude. He's not doing okay. So
for him to be in that role, I would maybe a false assumption, but I would assume that like you look into it a little bit, like who's this actual guy? How did this thing actually play out? and be like somewhat conspiratorial thinking. But
those are all scripted lines. This is what I've had to come to terms with. If people can play roles, they're just literally, are you good at doing the lines? Like, have you reflected on this? Like, my God, but and that's probably part of what's happening with him, honestly, is that on some level he knows that he doesn't have the full picture, but he's locked. His paradigm, what his paradigm is, like, I don't really have a reference for it personally, but I see him in these videos and he looks so haggard and run down from trying to, like, process what's going on. I'm just like, I feel bad for him. He's like Nancy Sinatra and a lot of these older people that, like, they don't know what to do. Like, it's painful to watch. It's so painful.
I'm not sure what you're
bad
talking about. Like, what is Leguizamo doing?
He makes a lot of videos where he's just like
so
super,
leftist
super
and
angry
insular.
and freaking out. He's just terrified. He's in a place of total terror, and he's been driven there by the Elizabeth Warrens of this world. Like, and it's like I'm just like, oh,
who's the other one?
my heart
Michael
goes out to him.
Rappaport did that a bit too.
Oh.
Yeah, but he's always kind of just been
Rappaport's in that
this
same
edgy. He
category,
just
though.
wants to be edgy. He's like, oh, I'll just say what I think. Whatever. It's like, yeah.
Well, it's funny because a lot of these guys, like Bill Burr, for instance, you can listen to them over the years.
I was thinking of visualizing him as soon as he's like.
You get money from the people that you get money from, and if it's no longer USAID, then now it's Saudi Arabia, and so it's really funny for them to go from criticizing Saudi Arabia and saying all this crap for Israel to all of a sudden, like, I'm so excited to be playing private shows for the children of the prince.
Well, there's the private shows, but there's also money that comes, just like what would happen with Tim Pool. You don't necessarily have to know where the money is coming from, or Jackson Pollock for that matter. You can be sponsored and not know who you're really being sponsored by. And then there's a directive that they're literally paying for, for what direction you're going to be influenced to go in yourself as you're influencing with a big platform. So, like, the money, if you look into the money that comes from Qatar, it goes to the universities. Who's winning the propaganda war right now? It's certainly not Israel. Israel's trying to pay plenty of money, and they're more overt about it. They're like, you look at like Netanyahu. He's like, I think we need better propaganda. I don't think our propaganda is working. It's like, because he knows what Qatar and others are doing and what they're paying for, and he's like, shit, we're losing. And like, why? Because there's so much money, and it's not just the universities. What I'm saying is, it's like what Russia did with Tim Pool. It's like they're sponsoring people, and they don't even need to know that they're being sponsored, and then the people who are above them are in the know, and then they're kind of like, okay, they're compromised. The person themselves doesn't always have to know that their superiors are compromised. So, like, it's crazy.
What international faction is this show sponsored by, Andreas?
Yeah, Andreas.
Tunguska.
It's Mormons. The Mormons
Tuscan Raiders?
for it.
All the
It is.
Mormons,
It's the Mormons. Yeah.
Fucking sand people.
Oh God! I mean, I guess
Careful.
it's like disenfranchised. And what did you think about The Long Walk? Did you see that? Stephen
No.
King.
It's exact, dude. If you've seen the preview for this movie, you've seen the movie. There's really not a lot of reason for you to. I mean, it's the most literal movie I've seen in a long time.
It's good to psychoanalyze Stephen
Long
King to
Do you recommend
understand
it?
Stephen King. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't, but like, it's not amazing.
Do
but
you
it's
recommend it over The Langoliers?
I gotta go pick up my brother here in a second. But hey, I watched
Is he heavy?
I watched Black Phone 2, which is Stephen King's son's new movie.
Oh,
Hill.
Joe King.
Joe King.
Yeah, who The Shining is dedicated to. Do I look like I'm Joe King? See, that's what gets me. So,
like I'm Joe King?
yeah, so in
look like I'm
Batman,
joking?
Tim Burton's Batman, where Jack Nicholson is like, do I look like I'm joking? And that's the name of Stephen King's son, who he dedicated the book to, who shines on, which is a John Lennon reference to Instant Karma. It's true. The most famous line in The Shining is "Here's Johnny," right? Johnny Carson was Mark David Chapman's other target, along with David Bowie.
yeah.
So it was whoever he got to first. If he got to Johnny Carson, or he got to David Bowie, but he got to John Lennon first. But yeah, that's it's just there's weird stuff there.
You know
I'm
what?
sorry. Yeah, so I'll watch The Long Walk.
I think
what's
it's
the
worth
deal?
watching. I think it's not like the greatest movie, but it says a lot about Stephen King's personality and psychology, and like what his he's clearly that same kind of Bill Burr, insulated closet racist North of New English, the whole thing that makes him so annoying on Twitter. You can see it right here because this was, I guess, his first book he wrote when he was a wee lad or something, and says it's kind of this post-apocalyptic. I think it's on the 60. Like what's it? 22. Was 11/22/63 the series about JFK time travel?
Yeah.
This is on that timeline where JFK's been saved and now we're living in a nuclear world or something. It's kind of like the Hunger Games or something from him. And yeah,
it's weird because there was some weird marketing with this.
I think
If
it's a
you-
metaphor for the war. Like they're saying these boys go on a long walk and most of them never come home. I think that's kind of the
Okay.
idea. It's
because there were
Vietnam.
some memes that it was an actual event taking place right before the movie came out. I don't know if you guys remember, but like on social media, there were all of these news articles that were coming up that said these boys had just like finished this walk. If they didn't finish, they would be killed. And then shortly thereafter, the movie came out. And I think that was just marketing for the movie, but I'm not sure. I just
Hold on. Somebody in the comments in all caps had to tell us that you got so much about Gremlins 2 wrong. What did we get wrong? Like, did we not like, or were we talking about a different movie and we thought we were talking about Gremlins 2, or what was it?
What am I missing here? Yeah, like what?
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
We talked for like a half hour about the Gremlins, like straight up.
Yeah. I want to know what we got wrong.
You already mentioned Jordan Peele in Twilight Zone. Did you mention the Jordan Peele skit of Gremlins 2 as well?
No, what do you got? I don't know what you're talking about.
If you don't, oh man, this is probably one of my all-time favorite Key and Peele skits where they have this boardroom and someone just comes in and he's like, all right, we're gonna start writing Gremlins 2 right now. I just want the craziest ideas, the ideas that everyone else always says no to. I just want to hear your ideas. And people, can you play sections of it or? But like, he's going through this room,
tell us
and like this guy's trying to keep them all on pace, and then like this dude comes in, yeah, he looks like the guy from Mannequin, right? And he's just like every crazy idea someone comes up with, someone's like, I want Hulk Hogan, and he's like, done, and like everything, he doesn't say no to anyone except for the one guy that's like the straight man.
The Hulk Hogan thing kind of, because I was watching and I was like, man, this is like a good amount of cocaine, like not like an extreme 80s cocaine, but like more than less cocaine, but definitely more than Alf, but less than heroin. It was a coke movie. And I was like, are they gonna is there gonna be like a reference to say this? And all of a sudden, Hulk Hogan comes on the screen and rips his shirt. You're like, okay. The entire this movie was just financed literally in bricks. That's the
and the whole premise of this entire skit is that at the bottom, like in captions, it's like all peace, Will. What you see as they're talking, and it sounds crazier and crazier, like the ideas that are coming up, and it's like these are all actual scenes in the real movie Gremlins 2, and it doesn't sound real until you go back and you watch it, and you're like, oh my god, all this really did make it in.
It's really deep. It's a deeper movie than people realize. There's a lot you can do with Gremlins.
Okay. He responded. Okay, in all caps again. Thank you. The extra holding up the 9 and 11 microphones in front of Clamp later became news broadcaster for Fox and was a 911 eyewitness.
9/11 eyewitness was in Gremlins 2.
Cool. So it's not us getting something wrong though. That's just that's an extra.
No, that's a different person. That's a different person.
Oh, is it?
A. Kusker said you got.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. No, yeah.
And the coward has no response. Why? No, I'm just kidding. We're curious what we missed about Gremlins 2 because I take Gremlins pretty seriously. I'm just letting you know.
Take it to heart, Yeah.
I'm looking for this part about
something that's not getting it wrong. Are we lying by omission by not talking about one aspect of Gremlins 2? We didn't bring up the vegetable guy. I don't know.
I don't know if I'm looking to see if I can understand this. Oh, I see it now. So, okay, can you pull up a cover of Gremlins 2?
Yeah, okay.
Like the actual movie cover. So apparently it's that the corner of the leather-bound chair that has like these 3 slash marks in the back. Yeah, the one on the bottom right there.
Oh, the main poster, standard poster.
All the yeah. So
and then if you look behind, you got the
the
two towers.
9 is represented by
Oh,
the
no,
little
that's
filigree, like the
Statue of
edge of the chair is the 9, and then the 3 slashes actually form 2 sticks. So you've got a 9,
I see it.
11,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you've got the twin towers that he's actually looking over.
Well, he's
which is
looking. He's looking at the Empire State Building, but yeah.
they're off screen, but he's clearly looking at them. And then in the opening scene of Gremlins 2, it does show you the twin towers. But yeah, I guess that's the 9/11 is the 9.
There's a 9/11 too. When there's a scene where there's a reporter and they're putting microphones in front of Clamp, and one holds one that just reads 9, and the other one that's 11, like channels. And there's just like it's a perfect shot. Actually, you could probably find that in an image search. I bet you a lot of people have pointed that out. It's one of those. There's so many in Gremlins too, like 9/11 predictors. It's crazy. But yeah, so is he telling us that? I shouldn't assume gender. Are they telling us that that reporter in that movie who's like playing that part will happen to be an eyewitness on 9/11?
That doesn't sound too crazy. I mean, anyone that was in Manhattan was an eyewitness. No,
they live in Manhattan. Yeah, they filmed it in Manhattan. So yeah, that's not out of the question. But yeah, still far from it.
I'm looking for like corroborative data. I believe it because I want to so bad.
No, what I would really be impressed by is if it just so happened that person caught it on film. But probably not, because almost everybody that caught 9/11 on film, that at least the stuff that showed, like, had worked for Fox special effects department.
It all happened in the
for
Trump
Fox
Tower
previously. Right? Yeah, so like
Clamp
that was one of those like kind of strange things. It's like to catch the first plane hit. You know what I mean? Like anyone who caught that first plane, especially, it was like, okay, you happen to have this background, like I don't know, but I mean, I guess that in 2001, not everybody had cell phone cameras, and necessarily, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, Tony Snow, I guess Tony Snow is the name of the guy. I can't find the evidence yet, but we'll find it if this is true. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Some September 11th things have happened already, but yeah,
this is all news to me.
Fox.
I didn't even know about the 9/11 on the chair.
Yeah, Jordan Barty did an expose on this. That's actually pretty amazing. Yeah, he just kind of just goes through and analyzes with circles and arrows, and he goes through the whole thing. Yeah.
What do you guys think about the little Raggedy Ann anime?
Psychedelic as fuck.
Raggedy Anime. This movie's a trip, man. I didn't see it growing up. I just recently saw it, and it has, to me, also some weird Kubrick-aware moments for sure.
Yeah, this is acid. This isn't just mushrooms like a lot of those.
Oh, did you see the Dopey sticker disappear on the door?
Really? Show.
No, I'm just kidding. You said it was like
a Shining reference.
Yeah,
I was like looking for it, bro. I was like, that would not be surprised. And because it's the Shining reference here is that isn't Anne's voice? No, it's not. For some reason I confuse it with Shelley Duvall, but I don't know. I don't think it actually is.
Shelley Duvall did cartoon voices at times. I don't think she did this though.
Yeah, I think I'm just mixing that one up. Bedtime Stories, she did. That's right. Which is also kind of psychedelic.
Right.
I don't know how much we can say on certain topics, but the original Raggedy Ann was based after someone that died from getting a little poke, I believe. Right? That was like the actual origin story of Raggedy Ann.
When you say poke, are you talking sex or vaccines? I can't tell.
The vaccines like that, but this is where Raggedy Ann came from. She was like the initial dead poster child for the anti-vaccine movement.
Wow.
Have you never heard that before? I remember her coming up all the time as like an archetype in like the 2019, 2020s.
Raggedy Ann dolls at protests, and I had to find out.
Oh, don't do Snopes.
I always do
on here.
I always do because if you love cats,
you have to see why they say it's false. If they say it's false, what is their argument? Yeah,
Raggedy Ann was patented before Macella's death. Raggedy Ann was created, whose daughter Macella died at the age of 13 after receiving vaccination. So she was modeled after a girl who died of a vaccination, but she didn't die of a vaccination until after Raggedy Ann was created.
Right, but Raggedy Ann then becomes a vehicle for the creator Gruel. Like Gruel then uses this as a vehicle and becomes a staunch anti-vaccine proponent, and some of that I think objectively would make it into all of the creations that she's got. So the fact that it wasn't patented until before, but then like she continues it after, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Here's Snopes.
Totally. No, but that's it. You just explained it. Like that doesn't take away from the argument at all. It's not like that this was it becomes a symbol. And this is that happened with Batman. Batman wasn't, he was
Batman's parents died from a vaccine?
No, in the sense of the symbolism that originally he's a criminal in the Bat. Batman comes from the Bat. It's like an early like silent film where he's a like, and it also connects to why Catwoman is a thief. Like he's just a thief murderer, and then and all the elements are there in the Bat. There's no question. Like the Bat symbol, like the Bat signal, it's a moth on a headlight. Like they show you that in the film. Like they're looking at this symbol, this Bat signal moving across the room in this silent film. And then it's like, oh, I blew it. It's a moth. It's totally like, it's so weird. But yeah, no, I don't know. There's a whole thing there. If you watch the Bat, it should be on YouTube. Can you jump?
I was trying to find that scene because also in Gremlins 2, there's the bat flying out of the Trump Tower, and it leaves a bat symbol, like the Batman symbol.
Yeah, so something can have its origin as
Here it
whatever.
Is. The bat flies through the window, and just for a second, you see it leaves a bat symbol. The Gremlin bat does.
Totally, yeah. And then there's as much predictors. Like if you're gonna do the like sorry Cassandra, I misunderstood. It doesn't just predict 9/11, and it does predict 9/11, but it doesn't just. It's as much COVID-19 as it is that. Like COVID-19 and 9/11 are intimately tied, as they're like one thing basically in terms of the response. Because you have the thing in itself, you have a virus, you have the destruction of the towers themselves, that's one thing, but then you have everything that surrounds it. That's the clephotic shells that the thing is embedded within. The event itself is one level. The response to the event is the Gremlins. You know what I mean? It's like yeah.
I too love the Gremlins. My God. Okay, so also while we're here, Paranoid American, what have you been doing this week? We could do like a mid plug.
Oh, well, actually I got I don't even know if I've pointed the domain at it yet, but I've got a new Kickstarter launched for Lee's Demons, which is a new try going to leesdemons.com. I don't think it points anywhere yet. But I got the domain. Lee's Demons, as in like Lee Harvey Oswald's Lee's Demons.
Leesdemons.com. Let's see. I found the Google.
Where does this even go? It might not even go anywhere yet.
It's gonna be Christopher Lee.
It's not quite there, but if you go to Lee's Demons and Google it,
so it says coming soon. But I'll have the links coming up like this month in November. But Lee's Demons is 160-page graphic novel. It's spread over more than 6 issues, and it's about Lee Harvey Oswald being raised by Papa Legba as a mentor, teaching him how to like hunt down demons and rip their hearts out and turn the hearts into literal magic bullets. It's a whole thing, and it's got like Sidney Gottlieb in it. It's got Jack Parsons in it. It's got like a whole different cast of characters. He flies all over the world like Lee Harvey Oswald did. And this one I'm also doing half of it in like traditional halftone coloring styles. So it kind of has like a nice vintage like 50s, 60s look to it. So something I've been working on for like 7 years now.
Discordianism?
What about Discordianism?
Well, that his whole thing, like you're familiar with Adam Gorightly's books on Lee Harvey Oswald, and what's the guy's name that was one of the founders of Discordianism that was so close with Lee Harvey Oswald, who testified about they talked about Discordianism in court about Lee. There's transcripts of what's the guy's name? Who's his friend?
It's not Stag, right?
What's that?
Not Stag.
No, I'm talking about shit, I forget. But
George Morensholt?
No. It's his friend. They served together in the military, and he testified about Lee Harvey Oswald and Lee Harvey Oswald's connection to Discordianism. There's a court transcript about Lee Harvey Oswald and Discordianism, just so you know.
I'll have to include it in the appendix.
Okay. Yeah. No, there's some big thing there. Oh fuck.
You know the thing about the Lee Harvey Oswald and JFK, the whole
Thornley.
thing in general. What is it?
Thornley.
The thing is that there's like 5,000 pages worth of comic that you could write about this freaking topic. There are so many connections. You can spend your entire life and you still don't really have all the answers and even all the theories, I don't think.
Yeah. Guy Bannister is interesting too, but I am talking about Thornley as far as the Discordianism goes. Yeah. But yeah, what the hell?
And then what else? Me
OJ
and David, we've been cooking on the Golden Bough comic, which is like damn near ready. I think we've got to flesh out like 12 more of the panels, and then we'll be ready to at least like announce that one and have like a little launch page for it.
Cool. What was your inquiry you wanted to ask me? I think we can talk about it.
I mean, it's like some pretty deep. Here, I'll pull
do you
it
want
up.
to just do it after the
we
show?
plug.
We can do that too. We can do that after the show if you want. Yeah, we'll figure it out. No worries.
Up to you. I'm fine doing airing some laundry.
Okay, well let's do it. What do you got? It's about the tower card. Was that the question?
No, I got a few. Let's see.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't. I don't know.
Well, one of them is a direct connection between Fraser and Crowley, and basically the connection that we're drawing is that Crowley used Fraser's work to frame his tarot story about this like ancient sacrifice and renewal ritual.
Totally. Yeah. It's in the chapter on the Fool in the Book of Thoth. Yeah.
And that like one of the statements is that Crowley, the Golden Bough kind of confirmed that the tarot itself was part of like a universal myth and like an initiation ritual. So I'm just wondering, like, what are the visuals for those two statements? One is that Crowley was fascinated with Fraser. Is it that because we already have some visuals where we're recreating Fraser's Golden Bough, and then like Kubrick's kind of like in the background, in the scenery, like as these different characters? Do we just repeat that same thing and now it's Crowley? Now Crowley's inside Fraser world, or is there like another visual for that?
Oh, I actually have to give that a minute of thought.
To show their connection in like some visual way.
Yeah, as far as the visuals go for the communication. Yeah, no, I will. We can. Are you available after the show, or do you?
Yeah. We'll keep cracking on
it. Yeah. Okay, cool. No, good question though. All right.
So nothing you want to. Go ahead. Sorry.
I want to talk about, this is kind of ridiculous, but I saw like, okay, the image that you're using, the pic that you're using for this episode was Parker Posey, correct?
Well, actually, I did it for the background.
Okay.
But like for the thumbnail, it's actually the Nick Cage one that Will made.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
Parker Posey's cool though.
I saw Parker Posey. Well, what's weird is this morning I didn't see much. I went to Twitter this morning and I saw that you messaged about doing the show early. And the only other things I saw was I'd seen it yesterday too, but it just popped up. Was what's that girl? Something Fox, Julia Fox. Her and people just going all people. I swear to God, dude, my freaking Twitter is just turned into Gawker. That's nice image though. Good job.
Right.
That's cool. But you know, she dressed up, this actress who's in a really terrible movie called Presence. Steven Soderbergh. Do not watch that movie unless if you like really bad movies. But she's in good movies too. But whatever. She dressed up as Jackie O before she was O, with her kind of pillbox hat and the pink dress, and it's got the blood on it. And
I got a way better one.
And people are, what's that?
A pin-up of Jackie O in a bloody dress. I'll try to find it.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, but the thing is like I was surprised that nobody was mentioning that this outfit has been done before by Parker Posey in the House of Yes. So and I don't know if you guys have seen this movie. It's a pretty good movie, I think. I would rewatch it. But can I talk about it without the spoiler, which is kind of applicable here? I don't think I can, because if somebody wants to watch The House of Yes, it's got a twist. Don't read up and find out.
All right,
what the
you've been
twist is.
warned. So by the time we do a show next week, we'll spoil it.
Right,
Or you
but
could
this-
just like mute yourself now and talk about it. But yeah,
right. But the point, I don't even need to necessarily go there, although it does have some relevance. But the point is that she's in this movie. She's wearing. They're not. You don't. This image is cutting it off, but the dress has blood on it. And then they're describing how she went to this party in the past. She's wearing this dress again that she wore years prior at, I guess, a Halloween party where she wore this dress covered in blood. It sounds like a fun Halloween, if you want a reaction, there's like that guy who just went out to some party dressed in full like SS Nazi attire, and everyone freaked out on him.
You mean Prince Harry? He did it again?
I don't know. It looked like it was just some guy. I went to a party trying to dress up as a Nazi for fun, and people weren't having it. But the controversial Halloween outfits is kind of weird. Is this what you're talking about?
I can't show this, can I?
It didn't. Yeah, of course you can. It didn't quite capture the exact mood that I was going for when I was working with the artist on this one. I really did want like a boudoir style pose where like she just happened to have a little bit of brain matter on her or something. So I'm still
Romantic.
working at this particular vision.
Yeah, I can kind of I can see the potential that exists of Jackie O looking sexy, like in a
Conception,
style,
like
with
laid
the
back
blood
on
there.
the trunk of the
laid
Cadillac,
back on the
and then
trunk
like
on
maybe
the
like a
trunk.
head like in the background leaking
I
a
see
little
it.
bit, but
I see
like
it.
the focus
you
is
don't
on
want
her.
to necessarily just reenact the scene, but she's exposing herself. What you want is a pose, strike a real pose here. That's a
Oh, well,
pinup
yeah,
pose.
1950s pinup style.
Classic, yeah, and that's the thing, is it's the era 1963. You want to have what the pinups were like at that time, like embodying that, but with some blood. It doesn't even have to be too gory
And respect.
necessarily.
There's some respect involved.
Have some respect. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
My
Oh,
God.
hey, can I just throw this in too? Did you guys see him yet? Have you talked
Yeah.
about him?
Yeah.
Did I miss it?
I like
that
Tim
again?
Heidecker's part. No, we haven't talked about it, but no, I liked it. I thought it was a good movie.
I think I didn't see this one, right? Is that what I did not see it yet? No. I saw this as a movie that exists. But...
Okay, you got homework.
Okay, it's worth it. It's important.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
it might not be the best movie you've ever seen, but there's definitely some like Mithra, it's like bull sacrifice, ancient agricultural worship sacrifice. Like it's all
Yeah.
kind of in here, and they kind of beat you over the head with it.
Tim Heidecker was pretty good. Tim
Interesting.
Heidecker, I like that Tim Heidecker is doing roles like that now, because Tim Heidecker is in Us also, right? And so Jordan Peele helped produce this. Is that he produced it?
Helped. I don't know if he gets full credit
Oh,
for
maybe
it.
it's his production house.
From
the
producer.
Monkey
Yeah.
Paw, whatever he's got. Yeah.
It's visually, it's worth a watch. I think.
Yeah. It was fun. I don't know if I would necessarily rewatch it, but it was an enjoyable film that I was glad that I watched. Yeah. A cool twist in the end too. I didn't see everything coming too. So yeah, I like that.
That's sweet. David, what about you? Anything that you wanted to point out mid I'm trying to say mid plug.
Oh,
They test higher that way. Put the plugs in the middle, they say.
I don't know. I mean, me and Ryan Page are still working on our project, and
Right, that's true. You have like a huge thing coming out that's like multiple hours long, right?
Well, yeah, we have a 10 episodes coming out, part of a series that we're working on, and so it's just conversations that we've been having. He'll be illustrating them, so it's still in the works. The first episodes are kind of being worked on simultaneously, so I have to go over it. We're gonna have just kind of disseminate exactly where it's gonna go. But yeah, no, it's in the works. I got a project in the works, so. And I'm excited about the freaking Golden Bough thing, man. I'm interested to see what you did with it. The panels that I'd seen already, I kind of liked, and those were just kind of preliminary kind of ideas, right? So
It's ambitious, man. It's like 3 huge works all, and I want to propose a series with you, both of you guys. But I'm thinking about like a new pre-recorded, like a whole bunch of different segments, and one of them I want to call it let's read the entire Golden Bough. Yes, the entire unabridged copy. That's that would be the name, because it has to have like a long title, because it's going to be like a long thing. And I don't know how much I want to bite off, but just maybe like 10-minute chunks, and then eventually over the next 20 years, we read the entire unabridged copy.
Or just use AI to train on my
I knew
voice.
you were gonna say that. I saw that. That was it. Or
I
just
mean,
use AI into it.
I don't know. I feel like that's in a way like profane,
sacrilegious, and
So at
and
one
not in the
point,
fun way.
I was watching an Andreas YouTube video, and at a certain point, I was like, "Why is he talking weird?" I was like, "Did I watch like a full half hour before I realized I was listening to AI Andreas?" So you could use Andreas's voice. Just have us Andreas reading the entire Golden Bough unabridged.
But that's not the point. The point is to like 10
Spend
minutes
the
of
time.
reading, reflection, banter.
You wouldn't want
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's,
so
there's nothing more ambitious than the Golden Bough on so many levels.
Well-
It's
well,
amazing that a book even exists. Honestly.
Speaking to and to consolidate it within like like 50 illustrations is it's a little silly as just the overall premise, but you got to run with it anyways. I wanted to have you guys heard about the UDO Universal Music Group lawsuit? Is this new for both of you? So
UDO, I
Suno,
saw UDO just join that freaking. Yeah, go ahead.
so Suno and UDO are two of the big like AI music generation tools, right? UDO was kind of the underdog, slightly different in some ways, and they had a lawsuit against them from Universal Music Group, and I believe that like last week, a combination of like a lawsuit settlement and an acquisition. Now UDO is like owned by Universal Music Group, and
they're gonna
overnight
make an app out of it.
you're no longer allowed to download any of the music you've ever generated in it of any kind of quality. They've got all this to be. They're not even allowed to like record a stream of it to use for your own purposes. And it sounds like the next iteration is now they'll probably make it so you can collaborate with like your favorite Universal Music Group artists, but
Right.
you won't own any of the music. It'll always belong to them. Like so, it's like this new chapter. So now there's like a huge schism between all of the AI music generation crowd of people abandoning UDO and jumping on Suno, and now speculating, well, is Suno next? Is Suno going to be the next one that gets taken down by these big behemoths?
Yeah, download all your
Soros is
music
going to
now.
comment on it. Soros is going to come out and be like, "But you'll be happy."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I never liked UDO. I always had a bad feeling about it. Other people liked it and tried to sell me on it. I was like, no. I was like, Suno. Suno's really great, and I'm really hoping that they don't get destroyed. But download all your files, man. Download everything you have. You have to, because there's no future in not doing that. But their lawsuit, I think the fact that Universal wants to have an AI app, and I was thinking when this happened, like, oh man, this is exactly what Thomas had talked about in the past. That there's going to be in the future. Did you get the new algorithm that lets you, make your own Kanye West song? I made hundreds of. What did you make with the new album? Is like the way that's going to go probably.
Well, Sora's doing it now. We saw the video version of it where first Sora came out, Sora 2, and you get all these funny like Tupac and like Bob Ross wrestling videos, and then you've got like like those, they were generated over the course of like a week or two, and then it gets neutered to where you can't put in any likeness of anyone that's known, but they have certain characters that it's trained on. Then all of a sudden you start seeing like, why is everyone with Jake Paul now? Well, that's because Jake Paul signed an agreement that was like, you can use my likeness in Sora 2. So once they show the public like, here's how good it looks, here's how easy it is to work, entice them, then take away all of the cool features they wanted and just replace it with Jake Paul. So now it's like the only thing you get to do with it. And we're going to see that happen now. It's going to be like, I don't want a song with Katy Perry. And Universal's going to be like, too bad. That's the only one you get to pick for this year. And then they can slowly leak out like, oh, do you want to make your own Taylor Swift songs? Probably not her because she owns her own label and everything. But like,
did you know that
you're muted?
I feel like I may have spoken about this at some point, but sorry.
I was saying because Universal's doing that, Suno has a better case because they're saying, look, this is an industry that exists. The record label's not even really against it. They just want to own something that they didn't come up with. And the way training works with all AI very quickly. I mean, the problem is perplexity. just had that case that they lost and they had to pay $3,000 a book, but that's a small amount to pay. So you can only imagine what it's going to be for the music industry. But Suno might end up being forced into some sort of a training recompense. I'm just hoping not, because there's no reason for it. I think they should be allowed to. I mean, do you have to pay an artist if you were inspired by an artist? You know, if you learned how to play
There's
guitar.
No more Motown.
If you learn how to play
everybody
guitar,
was just playing on everybody's everything. Yeah.
but even just like, that's not what it is, because it's not like a record that someone's taking Motown and playing a record for rap music. You know, it's not like Tupac taking like Carl Perkins or something like that. This is different. This is like if you were in junior high listening to Nirvana or something, and now you also make grunge music with your own guitar.
Right. That's
you've learned something.
To Motown. Yeah, I'm not talking about taking samples from it. I'm talking about Motown itself. Is everybody playing off of each other? You know, and the cover aspect is one thing, but it's just also that it's just like, dude, all these songs sound so similar because they're just all inspired by each other, and like that's the whole deal. But I just wanted to say, like, talking about the likeness thing. There was a point where I actually saw it admitted from CNN that there was multiple videos. I think it was like 2 of Obama and like 3 of Trump or something like that. It was somewhere around there. It wasn't over 10 that they officially admitted to that they had played that were AI. They were not real. But they made the rounds at the time, and people reacted to them at the time when they played them as if it were real. So kind of the damage was done.
What year?
Because this is like 2016. So like,
okay. Because 2016, that level of AI was not available to consumers.
Exactly. These were like high end. Like they were able to. They were so convincing, you know. But they had probably taken other videos of Trump and another video of Obama, and they were
training.
They played it on the news. Like, look, and people will tell you, like, you can't tell me. I saw them say it, you know. And now we've gotten to the point. It's like, dude, you do not know. And then, oh my God, it's so scary. All the reactionary level of like fucking Boomerville. Like, talk about John Leguizamo and Stephen King. So it's good to know that The Long Walk was written earlier for King, because if it's something
like
he was writing now, I don't know what would come out of that guy now. He is deranged, dog. Like he is not okay. People need to check on him. You know?
Dude, okay, so also Candace Owens went off on Mormons, and so I've been talking about her a little bit, and just gonna bring it up again because I was like, you know, she reminds me of, you know, that you're like soccer mom kind of person who finds out about chemtrails, and she just got woke to Rockefeller like too recently. She's just like going outside and like looking around, thinking about the flat Earth like for the first time.
Right.
And can't sleep at
Roseanne's
night.
gonna come and tell you about.
We're all on a journey. I think this.
We're all on a journey. We're all on a journey. I
But
can
not
fix
everybody
it.
has a massive platform like that. So.
But she burst onto the scene, and her whole thing was that like, look, I'm a black woman that's now conservative, and that was like her like novelty originally, right?
Yeah.
And I think that she just like leaned really hard into that before she even started reading about like John Birch Society and like Waco, and like so now this is the one that where like it's a little bit warmed up now, and she's starting to like get into all the weird literature. So like Candace Owens in 2025, I assume, is like us in like 1995.
I hope to God she becomes Mormon next year. Yeah, because like this whole week she's just saying, you know what, Charlie Kirk's whole like the whole assassination turning point, it's all Mormons, which is like, yeah, I mean, it was in Utah, so of course there were going to be a lot of Mormons there. But it's interesting because when people first start asking questions about any narrative, and you see like what the official narrative is and how much of that still is a presupposition that you take or preconception that you take until you reanalyze everything and there's so many things that we've taken for granted. So it's interesting watching someone like that who is, she on one hand superficially is really open to deconstruction of all of the things she was taught and believed, but on the other hand you're still looking for places you can grab onto. And so being told like Mormons are like this evil affront to your satanic Christianity, that's like a big one for people. They love to be like, the Mormons are the bad guys because they recycle too much and their families are too happy, you know? So I don't know. I just thought that was funny. Just like that Candace Owens is like going on that, and I just want to take bets on how long before she starts saying like, you know what, actually Mormons have a lot of interesting things to say. Like, when did she flip on that? You know,
I give her a good 10, 15 years, I think.
Really? I think less than that because things are kind of telescoping in a different kind of way now. I would say the timelines shifted somewhat as far as people's processing, like because we're in an information age, so it's like look how quickly, look how long it took for like the JFK assassination for people to see the crazy levels of it. There's just information is just like things are happening so fast now.
Oh, that's a great segue. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. So I got another series called Under the Docks where we review conspiracy documentaries on Tuesdays, and
Nice.
this entire month it's all JFK documentaries. So we
Nice.
do Everything is a Rich Man's Trick, 9/11
Yep.
to JFK. We
Sweet.
do JFK Revisited, which is the Oliver Stone produced documentary.
Yeah.
It goes like deep into the bullet and like the autopsy and all this stuff. And then we do JFK 2, the Bush Connection,
Yeah.
which is kind of like off the handles a little bit, but it is the most comprehensive view of like, the Bush family and the Germans and like this whole, like they made this investment and they needed to make good on this investment they had made.
Dude, I think that there's a lot of truth to the JFK2 one, and I'll tell you why. It's because I've told you about this guy before, but I know a guy whose dad was high up in the CIA, and he's got an incredible story, dude. This guy was like a super famous painter in New York, selling like paintings for the inside of skyscrapers. So like when you have like a giant lobby, and it's like they have these huge paintings. Like this guy like basically had a fortune, and then he married a woman who just like the night that they got married, she said she just flipped. She's Native American, irrelevant, but whatever she was. And she's just like, I'm gonna take you for everything you have. And he was like, you don't love me? She was like, no. And he's like, you're just in it for the money? And she's like, yeah. She's like, she wanted a divorce the night they got married. Like it was just like her scheme. And he was like, he was so this like he thought they were in love. Like he totally fell for the whole thing, and he was just like, take it all. And then he just like left with the vehicle and never looked back. And then he was homeless for years in Santa Cruz. A super cool guy, always smiling, just like super positive dude. Lived out of his vehicle. Now he's got a place or whatever. But he told me his story one night. Told me that, but he told me about his dad in the CIA, and he was the first person to tell me about the lion's paw handshake and Freemasonry. This is years ago, years and years ago, and that JFK2 documentary hadn't come out yet. And so he told me, he's like, my dad was given a house in Big Sur, a place for him to die overlooking the sea. So his dad was on his deathbed, and he was like, and George Sr. was just being elected president. And his dad said to him, he said, that man who's being elected, he helped kill Kennedy. He's like, he didn't fire the shot, but he helped kill Kennedy. And he said, and that's the reason why he was made the head of the CIA, and that's why he is where he is today, is because he knows how to keep a secret. And so like this is like high up CIA guy. I told this guy that in confidence as he was dying, and then he told me, and then later that documentary came out. And I was like, what the hell, dude? I think there's truth to it, dude.
JFK 2 one. Where does the lion's paw come into this?
He just told me about it because his dad was also a Freemason. So he explained it to me, explained the 3 fingers, all my heart, all my mind, all my strength. He explained like all this, showed me the handshake, put his fingers on my wrist and did the whole thing. And he was like, he's like, yeah. And he also was the first person to tell me about the Masonic Trinity. And
did he whisper Mahabone into your ear?
He told me the Jabalon. He was the first person to tell me about Jabalon. And so and then he related it to like, this is the other side of like, this is the Bible verse, all my heart, all my mind, all my strength. But they also relate to it as I wouldn't do it all justice, but he just laid all this shit out for me. And it's more than this. It was a long conversation where everything he dropped on me in the years that followed was confirmed. So like, that's why I'm just saying like that documentary, like I think that there's some truth to it. I don't know to what degree everything is true. Like that boat that he had that with Cuba and all this stuff. Like I don't know all the particulars, but I do believe at the very least, that George Bush Sr. was at Dealey Plaza the day that JFK was killed and had some part knowing and assisting, and that he kept that secret for the rest of his life. And now he's going around grabbing girls' asses in his wheelchair, and like he's just a total, he's just like, I can do what I want. I'm George Bush.
I thought he
Watch out.
died. Is he still alive?
Oh, is he? Oh, he did die, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but he was before he died. That's what he was.
I mean,
going
we
around
don't know if
doing,
he's
yeah.
really dead, but he's deceased. You know what I mean?
It's like a lot of women being like, and then it's fucking George grabbing my ass. He says, you know?
I thought he died more recently. It says 2018. I thought he lived
Yeah,
into
that was a while
COVID.
ago.
I thought he lived into COVID. That's funny. Okay.
No, you're thinking of Jimmy Carter, probably.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he was.
They were
barely
like
alive. That
hauling
was
Jimmy
crazy.
Carter around while he's just like practically a corpse, and like bringing it, like it was weird. There was kind of like a Weekend at Bernie's thing happening with him. It's sad. Yeah.
What do you guys think about breathing through your anus? First human trial of rectal oxygen delivery. I don't really know philosophically, but like, what about synchronicity? Like, I don't know what to even. This is complete inversion, of flatulence or something.
I don't understand what I'm looking at right here. What's happening?
I don't even want to look at this because I'm so worried that the pictures are going to be unacceptable. But yeah, so apparently some scientists in Japan, Takanori Takebi of Osaka, in Cincinnati's Children's Hospital, conducted a phase 1 trial of 27 healthy men administering non-oxygenated perfluoraldecalan rectally in doses of up to 1,500 milliliters for 60 minutes. No serious adverse effects. They're breathing.
But this isn't really breathing through your ass, which would be way cooler. This is just like another form of therapy to alleviate and address like gastrointestinal issues, right? Like that's the real practical use of this.
This isn't like that movie, The Abyss. I thought maybe.
Well, no, because that is actually way more fascinating to me, because that's technically something that we all do before we're born. Is that we've got fluid filled up in our lungs, and it has such a high oxygen content that we get through the umbilical cord that we don't have to have that breathing response. So there's absolutely a way that we could basically flood our lungs with a oxygen rich solution, and that once you get over that like feeling of being waterboarded or drowning, that you would just be able to like chill again and just breathe like underwater with like fluid in your lungs.
That's your dream. Yeah. That's fair.
It's basically Neon Genesis Evangelion.
I feel like being able to do that, like, and being able to handle extreme pressures would be better than being able to fly, because there's like more to see everything underwater. It's much more than there is sky. There's not a lot of.
You guys ever see that Project Camelot interview with that guy who claimed to be like a super soldier, who was like his special ability was being able to like basically hold his breath for insane amounts of time, and like his first memory as a child was like all these other dead children like who had drowned, and then they put him underwater, and they're like, oh, we got one or whatever. Do you know this guy?
No,
Sounds like Project Monarch.
I did see that like a Croatian or something broke the record this year. It was holding his breath for like 29 minutes.
Well, he's talking about basically people being genetically modified to incorporate dolphin people hybrid was like a thing. And like, yeah, there's some weird Project Camelot stuff, man. Some of them are just like so obvious that the person's full of it, but this guy kept tripping me out, because I mean, right now, like as I'm talking, like I often look at the comments. So if I was to watch this later, I can't see it while I'm watching because I can't look at my own pupils if they're off to the side while they're off to the side. But like this guy, as he was talking, he just keeps doing this, like, this guy supposedly this, super soldier dolphin hybrid guy. He's like keeps having his eyes go off to the side and then like come back. I'm like, what is up with this guy's like? I'm like, is that like a programming thing? Like, is he like I don't. Have you come across anything like that, Thomas? And looking into like MK Ultra type.
I mean, there's like the half-baked memory accessing cues of NLP, which are mostly debunked, but that's one that each person can be calibrated, and then if you're looking a certain direction, usually it's up to the left or the right. It's a combination of either you're accessing memories or you're creating new visuals, and that most people can't help looking in one of those two specific directions and up when they're like doing this kind of stuff. But You're talking about like the eyes darting around. I mean, if we're talking like Jason Bourne style, like maybe he's just like woman
one
in
specific
blue dress
direction.
just moved 8 degrees from left to right or whatever.
It's very fast and it's only in one direction, and it's both his eyes just go click, and it just for a second he just keeps.
That
doing
sounds
this
like a memory accessing cue, but it's you'd have to calibrate each individual person to tell if that's recalling a memory or if it's creating a new one.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I of all the Project Camelot interviews, this particular super soldier is the one that I would recommend. And at the time, he was looking at that off the coast of Yemen. There was like all these warships from different countries that came together and they formed a circle around this spot. And if you went to look it up at the time, like, Google Earth, whatever, you go and you check it out. There's just like a big cloud over the area. Like it looked like, and he was arguing that there was basically like a portal that was existing there, and everyone was basically protecting it from these different nations, and that it was like a super top secret thing. I don't freaking know, but we did check it. So at the time, a friend of mine and I were watching this, and we were like, dude, let's look it up. He claims that there's this thing, like, let's go to that spot. And sure enough, you could see the ships, and you could see the thing in the center. It's like, what is that? I don't know. Well, he's saying that there's something major happening there, and I don't know. Because he was saying that the pirates thing at the time was like a cover-up for this other thing that was happening. Like they said it was all about, because there's going to be a tension going to that spot, so they were like, oh no, it's pirates, whatever. But I don't know.
That's an interesting story. That makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I like to do a thing sometimes where like I like have to like oftentimes I'll have to like pause things to check. I'm like, is that true? Like if they'll make a claim that's part of a larger claim or whatever, and I'll have to cross-reference. Sometimes I like to just like suspend all disbelief and just like, that's how I read The 12th Planet from Sitchin the first time, it's just like, I'm not even going to stop and look this stuff up. Like I'm just going to read it and entertain it. And then afterwards, I'll go through and see what I see and what checks out and what doesn't. You know what I mean? Like,
well, if you don't do that, then you end up hosting something like Ancient Aliens, right?
yeah. Well, if I just entertain it, then I continue on with my life.
You become like David Wilcox or whatever his name is.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be that person. So, but at the same time, I also want to enjoy the thing and not have to just like stop it. When I watched that like 7-hour Hitler apologist documentary from Red Ice, like I did have to stop it the whole time. It took me like probably 12 hours to watch the 7-hour Hitler documentary because I had to pause it so much. So in that case, I didn't like just suspend my disbelief and watch it. I was like, wait, is that true? This is really what, I had to know, but yeah. Sorry.
And you discovered it was all true, I assume.
No, it was, well, the parts that were true actually were the his early going through the democratic socialism of early Germany coming out of World War One, the humiliation of World War One, and that a lot of those socialist programs were really great initially, and it was a huge boon for Germany. And then the point where it kind of shifts is like, okay, now the same methodology that's being used for these really helpful, good social programs is all going towards the military and these other places, and it shows you the trap of socialism. But the parts that checked out were like, wow, Germany was really doing really great for a while there in how they're approaching. But then they went in the eugenics kind of pseudoscience direction, and then
thanks to America.
All the money that could have been going to pretty good things ended up going into a bunch of bullshit, basically. Excuse me. So,
well, it wasn't bullshit. It was a way to make sure that the elite class could preserve their bloodline, because they saw that all of these irreconcilable viruses and diseases and like malaise, that they needed to figure out a way to just weed it from just the population at large, so it wouldn't find its way into their bloodlines. So that was the general premise.
I'm speaking ultimately where and that still goes on, by the way. We see that how, engineering viruses and all that kind of stuff. It's a tricky business, but yeah, no, I'm just saying, ultimately, what happened with the redirection, like Germany could have just continued on in the direction it had been going, and it probably could have just been pretty great. But they had to get weird on everybody. They got ambitious.
As the kids say, they were doing too much.
Right. So what I'm saying is, if you watch the Hendrik crazy Hitler documentary, like, yeah, there's parts of it that did check out, and like that was verified, whatever. And most of that is at the beginning, and then it's like once they got you, then he kind of just like takes the reins in another direction and is just like, well, actually, and you're like, dude, and most of the issues with it isn't necessarily that what it says is completely dishonest. It's that there's a line by omission, and those things that are omitted are so like important to everything that it's like you might as well just say it's a lie. You know what I mean? Like if you're describing something, you're like, yeah, well, that was true, but this massive other thing is true, but we're not going to mention that, so it's like that.
What do you guys think? Also, just really quickly on the most recent South Park. I know we like kind of brought up South Park. We didn't really talk about it, like the Melania.
This is the one I haven't seen yet. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I saw the one before it, but yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I agree with like the meta concept, and I don't think it's clever that they're doing the like, because the whole premise is that South Park sucks now because they're too political, and then like they're talking about the town South Park, not the show South Park, but like they're within the town saying South Park sucks now, it's too political. And then they launched like a crypto coin called South Park Sucks, and like I don't know, man. I don't.
It was too real. It was too real to be funny.
It is too political, and it does suck.
I felt like it was interesting because they used a lot of quotes from like the subreddit and from the Twitter group, so they're clearly paying attention to what their fans are talking about.
Well,
I don't like that though. I don't like them knowing or caring.
You gotta understand, if it wasn't for South Park right now, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders could still give their narrative that South Park just completely debunked. Because if you look at the timing, it's incredible. Because they fire Colbert, he's still gonna run till so many months until he's officially done. But the argument that as soon as that happened, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders were like, oh my God, they've been compromised by Trump. He's just a bully. He's told him, and it's like they're saying because Colbert went so against the grain against Trump that they had to let him go because Trump threatened them with lawsuits. Well, guess what? They gave $1 billion to freaking Trey Parker and Matt Stone to rip on Trump to a level and a degree that Colbert couldn't even. Colbert was just TDS. At least the South Park. I didn't see this most recent one, but the one before that, I laughed out loud 3 times. If I laugh out loud 3 times in a show these days, for me, like that's something. Like like to be by myself and to actually like I got like I don't know, I don't care. Like they couldn't be doing what they're doing if what Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren were saying about CBS was true, being that it owned Paramount. So like. Yeah, whatever. It's the same company.
I would have loved this energy when Biden was in office, and I just feel it's so weird though that like it gets political when it's the most convenient and acceptable time to be political.
Like I can see the Biden South Park character in my head, and he was never there.
And Hunter, bro, like they could have had a whole thing of Hunter Biden, right?
It looks like the greatest fucking target. And I guess they're libertarian or whatever label, so I guess they're just like, hey, everybody's fair game. But you're right. That was such a missed opportunity. I'm already laughing in my head at these South Park episodes with Hunter and Joe that just don't exist, but they should. It's just absurd, actually, that those don't exist.
Yeah, I feel like South Park specifically chose not to do those things, and you could see them do that even when Trump hit office, like with the Hillary Clinton election episodes where they were expecting allegedly for Hillary Clinton, like season 19, I think that is, or 20, whenever.
Right.
It felt like they knew.
Was that a choice? Did they, because like if you watch 6 days to air and they show like when they're producing the episode, how we're not allowed to have this, but we can have this, and they have to compromise all these different ways. I'm wondering if this is just like, that's the joke, that Elizabeth Warren was saying that this was, Trump being a bully, when it's very possible that this already happened, but it was with the other political party. Like,
I think that there's probably an actual dynamic like that at play, but there was a book that was released like 20 years ago now, but it was called South Park Conservatives, and it was this whole take on how like liberal media is all in love with South Park. They think it's so controversial, and they don't even realize that they're actually championing conservatives, that Matt Stone and Trey Parker were actually conservatives deep down, and that they were scared of. I don't think that any of that was like substantiated, but the book was successful and people kept citing it. And I think that maybe part of that like lodged itself into their brains, and they're like, we'll show these freaking South Park conservative people like how conservative we are by like going all in on Trump, to just sort of erase a little bit of the bad smell that got maybe left on them from that whole book and people citing it.
I think they were originally hired to make fun of Midwesterners to help them become more woke Californian, but they took that effort and they found the West Coasters to be obnoxious when they moved out to LA. So they started, when they were young and in Colorado, you're like, yeah, I love trans people and gay people, because you hate conservative people that are the mainstream, so you want to be reactionary. But then you go to California and you're like, oh God, and what can you do? So they've said on Charlie Rose, like, the only way to be punk in California is to be Republican, because it's so controversial. It's the only thing that's controversial. You can do anything else. You can be interracial, trans, alien, Dracula, as long as you're not Republican, right? So they just got upset at what's the coffee shop? Puglisi's is in trouble now because the owner owns historical paraphernalia. So a bunch of people are complaining and wanted to
Puglisi's been closed for years. What do you think?
Oh, which coffee shop is it? The Ugly Mug? Maybe it is.
Oh, the Ugly Mug, yeah.
No, or is it? Sense. No. It's Mr. Toots, I think.
Oh,
they're upset about Mr. Toots now. Point is, like, yeah, if somebody owns, so like, he must love Nazi paraphernalia because he owns like World War II paraphernalia. Like, that's the kind of thing that California is so outside of the box. It just bothers. It's in its own box. So they had to become Republicans, but really they've always been kind of libertarians.
I just want to repeat this thing where it's like, I feel like the whole season, they're not going to do this, but I feel like the whole season, it would be genius if like it ends with Elizabeth Warren waking up in like sweat. Like, this is just a crazy, the whole
this was all a dream.
Fever dream.
Yeah. With a Bob Newhart.
Yeah. It's about that. I think we're at that level now. Oh. Let me dutifully point out that Calix sent a super chat saying, I love David, I love Andreas, I love PA.
And correction, it's just Alex.
C Alex?
Yeah, it's just Alex.
Okay. What's the C for?
Who knows? It's silent.
Well, he says he's in California, but I don't know how close he is to Santa Cruz.
California Alex, that could be.
Yeah, you want to kick it? Let's kick it.
Yeah, bro, hang out. And then Base Kothar says, thanks for the Sunday show, gentlemen. Well, Base Kothar, thank you. Everyone, we appreciate that you were here. I want to also remind you to plug, you went to Paranoid American and MK Ultra. Make sure you also go to the F chat. Oh my God, they're going through an update right now, so do it later. And then also exertus.com. So yeah, thanks for being here. Is there anything else you want to say before I?
Oh no, I'll just remember what it is once the show ends. But yeah, no, we're good.
My God. All right, yeah, but we're gonna talk. You're gonna talk about the bow off cam anyway. So all right. Yeah, RGZ sent a super chat on F chat. I believe you. I don't know why they're having the issue. What is the? Does it work now? What am I doing wrong here? Places, Exertus. Oh, capital letters only right now. They have to fix the syntax issue. Okay.
So,
thank
Thomas,
you, RGZ.
Are you able to just stay on the line? Does that work? Is that okay? Cool. All right.
All right, guys. Well, be good to each other and see you soon. Peace out.